Else. Hi, y'all. I am so excited. I got a question today about how to transition mid-career to a new industry or new field. And I wanted to answer it on here because I think that you'll all find it very helpful, actually, because it ties in a bunch of different things, even if you're not making a transition mid-career or if you're trying to just change to get a job right now in the middle of layoffs and the recession and all the things that are up in the consciousness of the world. So today we're going to talk. I'm Nick Frick, the career coach for moms and new moms, and I'm here to share with you today some support for transitioning careers. And then later I'll tell you about the new group program that I'm having starting in May. And so the first thing I want to ask a person who is transitioning careers or fields is, why do you want to do this? Right? Is it something that you've been wanting to do for a while? Is it something that you have some experience in? And so, what I want you to do as a person who is mid career in a role that they've already been doing, whether or not they've liked it, is to the first thing I always recommend every single person do, no matter what, is to start jumping on informational interviews, conversations. And this is what I'm actually writing in my book right now about informational interviews and how magical they are. But specifically for this, it's to find out if a lot of times the lies that we hear or the stories that we hear about getting a new certification, getting more education, getting um, something more to get you into this is what needs to happen. But a lot of times, if we talk to people who are already in the industry, um, they don't actually need to do that. It's oftentimes something that women feel that they need to do to um, make themselves feel good enough. The imposter syndrome comes through. And so, if you are a person who wants to get into a field that is brand new, start talking to people who are in that field, see what they're doing, see if you actually think you're going to like it. And if you're already kind of doing those things, um, go back into the experience that you've had and determine what transferable skills that you do have. And so when I didn't know I was going to start my career coaching, I was looking for roles as having had been a recruiter and working at Whole Foods hiring people on the service team. I was also trying to transition. So I first transitioned from customer service at Whole Foods to a coordinator role inside of a startup. And then I moved into recruiting. And as I was going back to work after my daughter was born and before I started this coaching business, which is actually what I really want to do and is my absolute dream job, I started thinking of like what industries I could also look into as a recruiter. And this could be helpful to recruiters right now who are looking for jobs in terms of like how else can I use these skills that I enjoy using in terms of recruiting. For me, it's sales, talking to people, making sure that people feel welcome and nurtured and like that they feel that they're taken care of. And so inside of recruiting is also sales, customer success, and HR. And so how can you create these transferable skills in the role that you've already been doing? If it's something completely different, I super highly recommend like a coach to work with you or someone who knows the field or what you're going through to support you in moving forward, because it can be a little bit daunting if you don't know anything about what's happening in that role. And that's why I say informational interviews, not for referrals, not to get jobs, none of that. It's more about literally information so that you can cherry pick for your next job. So, first off, determine if you actually need to go back to school or need certifications. You can do this through informational interviews. Another thing is, I think one of the most important things is when we get the idea that we want to change careers or change jobs and it feels really big and it feels like a huge change, we, our ego actually tries to stop us and tries to avoid us becoming a bigger version of ourselves, which would be moving into a role that doesn't necessarily fit what we've been doing right now, but it does move into something that we want in the future. And so when I say this, remember that the universe, God, source, whatever you want to call it, is would not give you the idea of moving into a new industry or field if you couldn't do it. Okay. So, like, we don't get ideas that we can't do. They might seem impossible. They might take extra tools. You might need to call in more resources. But if we get the idea, we can usually figure out how to do it. And you know when my aunt always says this. She's like, "Oh, remember when I had that idea to like make this business and now it's a business and this other person is like making tons of money doing the thing and that like idea was several years ago." And so what happened is these ideas that we all have, this is kind of going off the rails, but I think it will tie in a second. Um, these ideas that we have are always floating around in the ethers. We're always able to access them. There's nothing like new being created. We're all part of stars and stuff like that. And we could go into that in a way different way. But what I want to say is when that happens because that idea is ready, right? And so my aunt got the idea, but then took no action on it, took no intention on it. But the other person did. And so it created something. So when I think about your mid career change, that idea is yours for the taking if you want it. And once you decide that you want it, the doors and paths start opening up. The resources that you need start opening up. The informational interview people that you want to talk to start opening up. Your friends start mentioning, "Oh, I heard about this company that's hiring." Like all these things start rolling once you decide that you want this thing. And so the third thing is you got to figure out what you want. And so in the book that I'm writing, also the first chapter is about vision, values, and clarity, basically. And so getting really, really, really clear on what you want helps resources, people, the universe get you on that track. So if you're a person who is applying to a ton of different jobs in various industries at different roles, that is just too scattered for you to get exactly what you want. So if you stay on the track of this is what I want, these are the things that I want to be happy, this is how much money I want to make, you get it faster. But if you're spraying out your resumes and your energy all over in desperation, it's likely going to just take more time because it takes more energy. It creates more job search fatigue, right? Like there aren't 100 jobs right now probably that you want and would like. And so when I talk about helping people find any job that they want and love, like it's the wanting part that's most important to me. If like I could help you find any job that you could hate in a couple of days, that's easy. It's easy to find jobs that you hate. But what I'm up to here and what we're up to here, if you're listening to me, is that you want a job that you love, that makes you feel fulfilled, that doesn't make you feel scattered and soul sucking and like you want to like not go to work and that you feel like nervous every time you pick up Slack or get an email. I want you to feel fulfilled. I want you to feel present at home with your children because you know someone's taking care of things while you're on vacation or you know no one's going to bother you at night. And so mid-career feels very, very big. A transition in mid-career feels very, very big because it is. It's so different than what you've been doing. And that's the best challenge of it. And so I really recommend you get support. And if you can't get support right now in terms of like a coach or financially investing in it, get help from reaching out to people who are already in the industry. And if you think you don't have a network for that, pick one or two people that you already know who love their jobs, talk to them, ask them for other people that they know. So we can always be creating a chain of networking for ourselves so that we're not always doing everything by ourselves. So this was a lot. I have, that's how I talk. There's a lot of information inside of this gorgeous body that I want to share with you. And sometimes it comes out a lot like a fire hose, and sometimes it is less. So I hope you found this helpful. And if you are in a spot right now where you're lacking clarity, you're not feeling fulfilled at work, you're not feeling valued at work, it's time for you to make a change. And one of the ways that I want to offer you support in helping change is to join my group coaching program, which starts in May 10th. And what we're going to be doing is going for 8 weeks, and we're going to cover my CARE method, which is clarity, action, right fit, enjoyment, so that you have all of the resources and tools that you need to get the dream job that you want. And also a group of women who are supporting you and sharing their resources and networking and showing you and each other that like we're not alone in this, even though it's felt like we've been alone for the last 3 years. It's time to reconnect and share resources and be in community around this because finding a new job is a full-time fucking job. And we don't got time to do this alone. Let's hold hands. Let's do it together. Please message me if you would like some more information about the group program starting in May. And I can't wait to hear from you. Let me know if you found this useful or if you're watching on the replay. I'll see you next week.